invasion, the Normans pretty well wiped out the Aboriginals, if you like, in Britain, with the exception of parts of Wales. They absolutely annihilated them. And if you read even William the Conqueror himself, it's called The Harrying of the North. If you want to read bloodthirsty, unbelievable savagery, you don't have to leave the four walls, if you like, the four corners of England itself. So in many ways, that's why it was loyal and peaceful, because they were destroyed. They were absolutely wiped out. But in Scotland and Wales and Ireland, the Aboriginal people still survived, and Ireland more so, so that it was the old names like the O'Neills and the McCarthys and so on, who worked very, very well with the Normans, but that didn't satisfy the English. They thought they're still only half-breeds. They didn't really see them. It was kind of like as if the whites had come out to America, and instead of wiping out the Plains Indians, they intermarried with them. The Easterners would say, yeah, but they're not Americans. They're some kind of mutts. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have accepted it. So there was a racism there, and the English already had the answer to it: just kill them all. You don't intermarry with them, kill them. The French slept with them, went to bed with them, intermarried with them. So did the Irish. No problem. But the English had that Anglo-Saxon kill them all, wipe them out, and if there's even after you can just kill them, kill the last one. So I think that's where the racism comes from. It's endemic in it. Okay, we're coming up to time. I'm getting the signal. But the period during that Middle Ages, Cork was a very typical European city and suffered, for instance, from the Black Plague just about the same as most European cities did, and almost right on the button. It lost 35% of its population.
Was that when Skiddy's was built? The almshouse next to
Probably. Oh, I'm sure there's an awful lot of traces. Yeah, I'm sure that it's like in most European cities. There's like the First World War. There's and the Great Plague. You know what I mean? The Black Plague, the Black Death. It's a what would I say? A watershed period in European history, and very much so in Cork City.
When I studied architecture in Cork, when I started out, we did a study of different areas in the city.
Yeah.
Out near Tivoli Hotel, there was an area called Leper's Wall.
Ah, yeah, I bet. So, yeah, they buried them outside the walls.
But So was Ireland hit as hard as Europe with the plague?
Its port cities were, even Sligo.
The port cities, but
yeah.
not necessarily the interiors.
No, not much. Not as much. Because
the rats came on the boats, didn't they?
it came on the feces of rats, actually, and of course it spread in the cities because of the close proximity to where people lived. But it didn't do as well in the country, in the rural areas. So for that reason, rural Ireland didn't suffer as much, and Ireland was mostly rural. But the cities suffered just about exactly the same as a European city would have, especially a coastal city. Pardon?
To ask you, was there a leper colony in Cork?
Well, this wasn't leprosy, as you know. This was the Black Death, yeah. I've never heard of lepers being associated with Cork, no. I mean, it was endemic around Europe, and sure it was there, but it wasn't a major problem. I mean, every disease known to men was, in the cities and around at the time, tuberculosis and just about everything you can think of. Pardon? Cholera, all of it. And it would wax and wane and get worse and so on. But when you have, a moment in history, and the way I always remember that is like just smack dab in the middle of the 14th century. It's actually 1349, but 1350 is close enough. So if anybody ever asks you when was the Black Plague, boom, 1350, right in the middle of that century, and everything went into decline for 100 years. I mean, it really took literally 100 years for it to climb back out again, and it wasn't until the late 1400s that things started to come back out again, and Europe started to lift itself back out again, which of course everybody then thinks of 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue, but during that previous almost 100 years, it was pretty quiet in Europe, although the latter half of the 1400s. If you take 1350 to 1450, not much went on. But if you take 1400 onwards, a lot of things started to happen. There was definitely a renaissance then, and there was the beginnings of the Enlightenment, and you had this was of course before anything and before the religious war started. They didn't come to 1500.
Time.
Yeah.
Patrick, we have to leave. We're about to smell ale, but thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very interesting.
All right.
I have a great granduncle named James Daly who made his money selling butter to the British Army.
Ah, yes. Oh, it was famous for butter. Yeah.
And his father
Yeah,
says that he can remember Cork City burning.
He can.
Yeah, he's 87.
Oh, I bet he would. Yeah.
Still going strong.
So you're going to LA to